I mean, when you split practice again, there's so many little things you got to get done, and actually being in split practice, there's some benefits to it of focusing on some of the little things, not the big things, the installation, the scheme of knowing what you're doing. It allows you to kind of break it down and really get to the individual, and so that's what today was, a lot of individual work, a lot of even though we did team and 7-on-7, did all that stuff, but a lot of individual attention on doing things the right way.
Did you split it any particular way, or was it just totally random?
I mean, there's always a way. I mean, number one way starts with exams. So guys that had the exams this morning couldn't practice. Guys that had the exam this afternoon got split up. And then then it's also split to make sure positional balance. And then by groups of who you want working with who. Try to get a lot of young guys together today so you can really focus on coaching the young guys.
Any particular big plays or guys who stood out a little bit?
No, not to me, because my biggest focus is they know how to run on and off the field. They know how to break the huddle and run to the line of scrimmage, run to the football. My focus is always on going hard. If a guy jumps up and makes a catch, I hope they do that every once in a while because we recruited them to be able to do that. But I don't even pay attention to that. If a guy's making a spectacular catch over here, I'm not even paying attention. I'm making sure that we have 10 of the guys on defense running the football.
You had a lot of preferred walk-on special teams, pretty talented in high school. You been able to watch any of those guys early on?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we haven't, we've let them do some, we've seen them in individual. We haven't done any group kicking. So, I mean, it's obviously pretty easy to do when they're not coming to get you, and we haven't put them in the pressure situations. And, what I mean by pressure situations is with team and big guys coming to hit them. We'll see how they respond once we get to that. Kind of, again, with them, same deal, teaching them how to drop the ball on punt, how to, I think you look at get off time for PAT field goal. I don't think they probably stress that much in high school. Where you have under 1.25 seconds to kick the ball, or else it's going to be blocked in college. So little things like that they don't understand that we're trying to get them down to, how fast they have to go.
How big of a difference you see that new rule this year, kickoff moving up? How big of an impact do you see that having?
It's a huge deal. Shoot, we finally get a guy, Devin Bell, who think can kick it out of the end zone. Now they move it up, so you should be able to kick it into the stands. But they. I think there'll be a lot of decisions have to be made of, do you want to try to kick it out of the end zone and give them the ball for 25, or do you want to you have less field to cover, try to strain down the field and pin them inside the 20 and make a big play on the kickoff. There's some decisions to be made in that, and I don't know if anybody will have the answer till the season gets going.
You say you have a guy you expect to kick in the stands. Are you looking for Devin Bell to be that immediate?
He has that talent coming in, but again, it is that adapting that talent to doing it in front of 60,000 people, and on national television, and doing it in a bigger situation. So that'll be something that we see as we move forward. But I have no problem if he's our guy this year.
Then the rules used to allow you to have 3 straight days of just freshman practices, twice a day, and then they changed. You can't do that anymore. Was that back then maybe better for getting the guys ready, or you like it better because they can mix in with the older guys?
No, I like it the old way. We actually brought that up in practice today. You just think there and look. And I know a lot of rules are there, and they try to make sense with them sometimes, but that's one that we're educators, and that's one that's poor teaching.
Yeah.
If you ask an educator, that's a bad way to do things. And, it's like saying, okay, let's take a kid that's going to start school and put him in a 5th grade class. Well, he didn't get 1st through 4th, and he's with a lot of older kids. Yeah, but that's okay. So one of the things you like to do is do that. And that's why one of the reasons we do split the practice, they get more individual attention. Back in the old days, you'd be great. You had a couple days that you could really sit and teach the freshmen how to run on and off the field, how to break a huddle, teach them 3 base plays. So when the older guys came here, they could actually function a little bit instead of just being lost. And like we said, in all the things with freshmen, we hype these guys through the roof recruiting, and then don't even give them the adjustment period, so they come in and they feel like, holy cow, what's happened? And you got to deal with all those personalities, and that's part of the big one of counseling sessions you have at night,
Is that one of the reasons you do Friday night football once the season starts? And that's why the
Monday night
younger
football?
or yeah, whatever.
Or Sunday night?
Sunday night
Bum,
football.
bum, bum, bum,
Yeah, whatever it is, where it's just the young guys.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. But it is. You do it because they're on the, a lot of them are on scout team. It's their chance to go play the game and kind of keep them in tune of what our offense, they're looking at a card or, running certain plays. It gets them to keep continuing to know our offense and defense.
Last year, a lot of hype around Fletcher Cox, and it took him a little bit to get going. I remember you talking about that, and obviously he had that stretch there where he was just phenomenal. What about Josh Boyd this year? Do you think you got his attention a little bit more? Because he saw that last year, and he knows what it's like to have all that attention on a guy like Fletcher?
I think so. I think, I think, if you look attention-wise, it's more Banks than Boyd.
Yeah.
Banks is getting a lot of this hype. Boyd, is kind of not getting as much preseason hype. But I know within the team, our expectations of him are the same. He's the leader of that group. We expect him to be the leader on the field, playing in his performance, as well as his leader in his actions at practice and how he leads the team in the locker room and everything.
Talk about leaders. Is there one leader for the receivers, or is it just all those senior guys?
I think at different times it's different guys. I think Chris Smith does a good job in trying to do that. He's kind of guy that'll stand up and get in people's face a little bit if he needs to. But I think the hardest one, there's a bunch of guys that are older, so it's you don't need to always get in the young guys' faces. You got to really kind of coach them, teach them how to do that, and the older guys kind of do their deal. They know what they're doing. So it's an interesting one where you don't need a dynamic leader at that position because there's so much experience.
You talked yesterday about Jamion Lewis, about how he's got to be a receiver. He came in wanting to be an athlete. Do you kind of take that more approach with even Chad Bumpus after kind of the year he had last year? You're like, let's focus on being a receiver this year. What's his role going to be like this year?
The same. He's a guy, though, that's done a lot for us. He draws a lot of attention from other defenses, too. So, with that being the case, it's if they're going to double him, other people's numbers are going to go up. So I think that's it. I think, Chad's very conscientious as a guy that wants to play his best football his senior year this year. I think, he and I have talked several times, and I think it's really important for him to do that this season, to have a breakout year. He probably did that his freshman year and his sophomore year and all those, but, he's always asking, how can I be better? What more can I do to up my game and have my best year ever?
Do you see that dynamic out of seniors right now, where this is my last fall camp? This is the last time I'll ever kind of do this. Do you see that light bulb turning on yet, or is that just not?
I do. We talk about it, in our team meeting rooms. It's kind of alphabetical by age, or age by alphabetical, or however it works. Older guys in the front alphabetically. Right? I'll line up alphabetically by height. That's how you go.
In the circle.
No, but you see those guys, and you know what it is? It's like, and you sit in front, and I was telling my dad, I said, it's weird to be up here front. Like, man, it just felt like yesterday I was in the back row, and here I am. And in a week, I'm in the front row, and this is it. So I do think it sinks in, and I do think that's why a lot of seasons are based on your senior class. You're going to get the most out of your seniors. You always will, because they know this is it. And if they don't know this is it, you're set to have a bad year because they don't get it.
From your vantage point as head coach, his first few days of fall camp, is there as big an advantage, it seemed like there ought to be, from all those older guys are now, some of them 4 years under the same coaches, all of them at least 3 years with the same staff. And I ask that especially compared to so many other schools and their new coordinators, new coaches every year.
Well, I think having staff stability certainly helps. And helps in the older guys know what to expect. So the older guys can play at a certain level. The older guys know how to run on and off the field. So that you're not spending all that time teaching every little basic. Even though we teach it, you're not just stressing that over and over and over again. The older guys know it. And, that certainly helps. And, even as a staff, it helps going out to practice. As a head coach, that you're not sitting there spending time on, this is how I expect you to run from drill to drill. Our coaches know that. And you know, and they're used to my behavior on the practice field. I get after people sometimes. So I've been known to do that, and you know, I think early on sometimes, I mean, that can, if you don't know the personalities of all the coaches, it can throw you in that frenzy. Even, you know, and how two assistant coaches react to each other sometimes. You know, I think when you have that stability, everybody knows how their role is and how to move from drill to drill and do what they need to do.
Any new guys you expect to kind of try and work in to see if they can be a factor in punt return or kick return this year? Any of these fast freshmen you can give a shot? Or
You know, I mean, guys were return guys in high school. Cedric Giles and Brent Holloway and Grindle and Will Redmond were all big return guys in high school. So now whether they rotate in or not, I don't know. I mean, we're going to give them the shot. I mean, they're doing it. We do specialists and stuff now, catching punts and kicks. We'll give them that shot during camp and see how it plays out.
who's going to be your good, what do you call them, missiles, your gunner?
The guys that run down the field.
Yeah, I mean, who's some
Well,
really
I
good
mean,
guys?
you know, there's one of those spots open. You know, last year it was Burr and on the punt team, you know, it was Burr and Love. And you know, I mean, with Burr gone, there's a definite spot to be kind of that big time special teams player.
Who are you looking at right there? Several guys?
I mean,
Couple?
yeah, I mean, I got to look at the depth chart, but there's 10 names on the depth chart. I mean, at this point, there's 10 names looking at everything. Game weeks when we really limit it down, even that after that week at break camp in school, I'm still doing it. You know, a game week is when we start cutting it down to 2 deep. You know, right now, especially we're 4 deep. You know, because I want guys to learn it and everybody to get an opportunity. So, you know, I guess if you look at the missile spot, there's 8 guys getting reps at it right now, at that spot. And, you know, when you get down to school, you'll probably cut it down to the 5, you know, pair and a spare.